presenting my interactive notebook for Ed 486 and 487. And so here's my front cover that I decorated. And then inside that I have my table of contents where I wrote out all of my page numbers and which teaching strategies were on what pages. I have my supply list. For some of my supplies, I had used construction paper, sticky notes, crayons, borders, stencils, tape, stuff like that. Next, I had my why, for why interactive notebooks are helpful in a classroom. Next, I had what an interactive notebook was. And after that, I started with my teaching strategy, so I'll just go through those really quick. So my first one was wait time, and in all mine, I put a little clip of what it was at the bottom. And so for my first point, I said wait time is when a teacher asks a question and allows silence before letting the students answer to give them time to think. Next, I use technology in a classroom. My next one was differentiation. Visualization. Cooperative learning. I did graphic organizers and I listed a few of them here. Inquiry guided, which is basically question based. Class discussion and group discussion. Student-led classrooms. I did lesson objective transparency and how that can help a student succeed if they know what's being asked of them. Experiential learning. And that's inside and outside of the classroom. So that's a lot of stuff that you can learn outside of a classroom, but also in a classroom if you experience it doing projects and stuff like that, how that can be helpful. Next, I did modeling. Then I did mistakes, which could also be a part of modeling if you're modeling how to make mistakes correctly in your classroom and showing how you can come back from them and how it's okay to make mistakes. I did feedback next. High expectations. On page 19, I did exit tickets, and I learned this actually in college. I've had several teachers use exit tickets during in-person class. Next, I did seat signals. I've actually never been in a classroom where I've seen this done, but I've seen a bunch of it on Teachers Pay Teachers and on Pinterest and stuff, so I thought that was a good idea. Next, I saw props. And then I did strong voice. I think that's super important in a classroom to be able to command your class. Then I did, on page 23, I did do it again. I have a friend who's a teacher, and she said she has a rule in her classroom where if you don't do it nice, you do it twice. So when I saw do it again, that really stood out. This one's pretty obvious, but explain everything. Next was precise praise and how that's so much more beneficial than cheap praise. If you just give out praises left and right, they're not going to mean much. But if you use them at the right times and for the right reasons, it means so much more to your students. Next, I did warm and strict. This one was weird to me because I'd never heard it before, but it's basically saying that your students know that you're warm and caring, but you're also going to get the job done with the strict. So I thought that was really important. Next, on page 27, I did normalize error, and that also goes alongside with mistakes. This one was emotional consistency and how that's important because you don't know what a kid is going through at home. Also, being emotionally consistent throughout your classroom and not just being emotionally happy towards one student and hateful towards another. You have to be consistent to your whole class. Next was positive framing. How you could say, instead of saying, why did you miss this question, you could say, I'm proud of you for getting those right. On page 30, I did threshold. This is something that we had went over in class, how you greet your students at the door and how that can impact your class period with them. Next was cold calling and how that can keep your students on their toes if they're not sure who's going to get called on next. Next to last was stretch it, and how when you ask questions to your students, don't just let them give you a one-word answer or the basic answer. Ask them to go deeper and be more expansive on their answers. And then lastly was the hook, and another word for hook is your anticipatory set. And so I gave a little graphic down here over anticipatory sets and how those will help get your students interested in your lesson. So that was my last page on it. And that was my notebook, my interactive notebook. Thank you.